Hello everybody, we are here going to cover Module 8, covering the media today. Alright. So after this lesson, you should have a better understanding of the sources of our news, ownership of the American media and its implications for the political news that we get, the role of journalists, and the relationship of citizens to the media. So I would ask you to start here by thinking about where is it that you get your news from, right? Where and how do you consume your media? Are you getting it online? Are you getting it through Twitter or Instagram? Are you reading newspapers, New York Times, LA Times? Are you listening to podcasts or other forms of media? Are you listening to media from different parts of the political spectrum, right? So to really kind of take a self-assessment of where and how you get your news. And consider, how do media sources differ in their coverage of politics, from podcast to television news, to nationwide news, to podcasts, right? Just thinking about how do they differ? How is their approach different based on the network, for example? And to consider, are the media adequately informing the public, right? Are they adequately informing the public on issues, on current events, right? Whatever you see in the media overall is probably a small percentage of the news of that day or the week or that month, right? So the decisions made on what it is that you see or don't see, right? Those are things to be considering. And whether or not you are getting adequate information and data to allow for critical thinking about what's happening in the world around us. So, of course, let's think about the different kinds of media that we get. We can consider print and radio media, newspapers and magazines, and of course, or maybe not of course, but readership for print is on the decline, right? And you might imagine, particularly if you yourself engage with media online using your smartphone, that that might mean that the newspapers, the print copies of things, have had lower and lower readership, which is also why you see things like subscriptions in some places to online media, right, as a way to continue to make some profit in their news media, considering the decline of people buying like physical copies of things. Okay, so we see fewer newspapers than in many industrialized countries in this country. And when you think about not only the newspapers, but also who owns these papers, right? We also are seeing consolidation of ownership in some in various forms of news production, whether it be combinations of newspaper, TV, and otherwise, but that kind of leads to fewer newspapers. Only 7% of people read a national paper, but 44% read local papers. So there's that sense of at least an engagement with what's happening in local news media, which is important, right? Do you take in the local news? And if you do, does it give you a sense of what's happening in your local community, whether you're watching it on local TV or listening to it on the radio, right? But if you're engaging about what's happening in your near community. All right, radio. So radio as a form, if you can imagine, after the papers, radio became this thing that's like, audio connection, right, between the audience and, of course, the broadcasters. So it allowed news to be more up-to-date, more personal. It also allowed for politicians to have a way to directly connect with the public and speak directly to them using radio. So we can think back to the first presidential the first president to talk over the radio, which was in 1933. That was Roosevelt. And he gave these fireside chats. Okay. So let me see if I can share with you a little bit of this. We won't play the whole thing, but of course All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop it there because the main idea I want you to take away from this is the conversation that the president's having with the public. And as we can see right where we left off here, it's he is first trying to explain part of the banking system to the public so that they can understand what is unfolding here around this banking crisis in 1933. So you have to envision, right, what would be the effect of the first effect of the population being able to hear this explanation from the president directly to the public, that explanatory factor, but also what might it have meant to have that kind of connection, right, to the president. I'm going to go ahead and link in the description below the rest of that video so you can watch some more and ask, right? Is it informative, right, to hear the president explaining more about the banking system and trying to explain what's happening, right? Not only that, try to reassure and provide calm and information to the public. Okay? So listen to it. And what do you think? Do you find it informative? What does it do for the listener to hear the president try to explain what's happening, right? Provide definitions, give them a sense of things are going to be, some sense of calm and orderliness. What does it do for the listener? Okay. So I asked you this question. What do you think would be the effect of hearing about this crisis, the banking crisis of 1933, in this format, this audio format on the radio, and directly from the president? Consider that. Okay, so television has dramatically changed the way that people have received the news. It's increased the importance of image, right? The way we see one another, such that we can also consider how many folks engage with media in this way, where 51% of Americans watch local news, 39% watch cable news, 36% watch network news, right? The ways in which these different folks are engaging with these different forms of media.